What like restarting. Gonna run that back.
And no, that's it. Yeah.
I'm just gonna we're just gonna move forward. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Backstage with Brenna. My name is Brenna and we are still in quarantine. Today I am so excited to be interviewing another young alumnus. Give it up for Davis Leonard.
Hello.
Hello, I'm so happy to have you, Davis. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here and see your beautiful face.
So we're just gonna start off by asking easy stuff. What did you major in when you were at Stanford, and when did you graduate?
I majored in theater and performance studies with a concentration in theater making, and I graduated in 2019.
I heard that maybe since then you've worked on a small campaign. Is this true? And if so, what's been going on with that?
Yeah. When I graduated, I went and joined the Warren campaign for president, and it was the most amazing thing ever. And if you want to work on a campaign, you should, because highly recommend.
So what was the process of like getting to work on the campaign like?
Yeah, so I think I got the job the last day of finals of senior year, like for my 101P final. I was the national mobilization correspondence manager on the grassroots mobilization team. And so grassroots mobilization is like digital organizing. So like organizing using the internet, doing distributed organizing, and which is when you like empower volunteers to go forth and like organize in their communities. And so my role was managing info at elizabethwarren.com, which is like the main inbox of the campaign. You have all of these people who are writing in to an email inbox, and we wanted to take the opportunity to like treat those people like the potential voters, volunteers, donors, members of the movement that they are. And so the inbox kind of ranged in the kind of things that we would get in it, from people needing help making a donation to people being like, hey, like I'm in Oregon, like how can I get involved as a volunteer, all the way to people asking really detailed policy questions, to people just sharing the story of their life and what they're struggling with. And for our campaign, like we didn't we only accepted grassroots donations. So in the inbox, every single person writing in being like, hey, can you help me make PayPal work? I'm trying to donate $5. Like those are all the most important donor to the campaign, right? And so wanting to figure out a way to like have a quick, like helpful, but very human, authentic communication with them, and to make every point of contact someone had with the campaign um, be memorable, and be human, and make them feel like welcome and part of something, even if it's just like, yeah, here's how you can fix this PayPal thing. And so yeah, it was really cool working with the volunteers, and writing the scripts for the emails, like very much uh like very related to theater, I think, in terms of just like thinking about like what are the components of a communication to someone. How can I write something that a bunch of people can use in a bunch of different contexts that's still going to feel like a real human, and get the
Yeah.
information across.
I mean, it's a script, right? Like it's a
Yeah,
it's a
totally.
customizable script.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's so wonderful to hear about your work on the campaign. Since then, what have you been up to? Slash, what are you doing now? Slash, do you have anything that you're looking forward to, or like hoping to work on in the future? I know everything's very uncertain right now, but anything
Yeah.
on the plate?
Yeah, so right now I'm actually working for Warren Democrats, which is the organization that is continuing continuing to promote the ideas and policy plans and vision for big structural change in America that Elizabeth Warren championed during her presidential run.
So, moving on to some like fun and funky questions. How does art theory and art practice fit into your everyday life now? Like, I know you must be so busy, like working on all of this, but how do you keep like art and art making a part of your life?
Totally. I love this question. I mean, yeah, I think like theater is so applicable to so much of what I did on the campaign and like the way I think about the world in general. I think like in terms of specifically the applications of theater to campaign work, I did a lot of writing and trying to, um, like persuasion writing. And I think thinking about like, how am I going to talk about this thing? Um, uh to try to make the best case to this person. It's so similar, and like draws on so much of the same stuff of thinking about like a theatrical audience, and like if you're devising, like thinking about the audience's experience at every point, and what the audience is coming in with, and just making all of your decisions that way. And so I think that's super applicable, and was a really exciting sort of familiar challenge, because that's, I think, one of the things that is so cool about devising and making theater. All of the theory that taps is so great at like offering to people and thinking about the way that we are like playing out um received social scripts in our own lives and our own bodies all the time. I also think there is an energy to campaigns that I really love. It's kind of like it's tech week all the time. So you're like with these people, you are sprinting towards, a particular day, like opening or election day.
Yeah.
And there's something ephemeral about it. It's not going to be this forever. And so you can really throw yourself in completely, and like do those late nights and do that extra bit. And there's very much of that same feeling, and that's something I really loved too. I also want to say, like, if people are thinking about like what to do after college, that was such a hard thing for me to think about senior year. I was so stressed about it all the time. I think there's a lot of pressure that comes from a lot of the narratives we have about theater, right? Which is like, well, kid, if you can imagine yourself doing anything else, like, don't do it.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
my God, that's a
and then
huge
it's like,
one.
okay, well, I can imagine myself doing something else. So like maybe I don't want it enough, or like, but you have to follow your dreams, and like you're gonna be so unhappy your whole life if you don't follow your dreams and like take your chance and like do what you love.
Yeah.
And I think like one of the most like helpful things that I found was to like take a step back from those, like, I don't know, those the very simplified ways of thinking about things. Like the world is more nuanced than following your dreams or like doing what you love. And like doing what you love can change over time. And like for me, something that I had to think about was the thing that I love at Stanford, the like getting to make plays with my friends in the nightery, with like access to resources and
Yeah.
people who are going to come see the show, and like time in my day. Um like like that isn't something that necessarily translates one to one to like the world where you have to like support yourself in
Yeah,
capitalism, and like be a person. And like
totally.
maybe for some people find ways of doing that. I couldn't really see immediately after college ways of doing that. And so
Yeah.
then the question of like do what I love, like it just becomes a little bit more complicated. And I think like we have so much more time than it feels like when you're graduating, and it feels like this person has a job, and I'm going to be so behind. Like there's so much time, and there's so
Yeah.
many like ways that we can have this in our lives. And even if it means like in 5 years, like I go and like audition for things and like do theater, like it's not like paths are not so linear.
Yeah.
Another thing is read Upstaging Big Daddy by Susan Duncan and Ellen Clement. You will not be sorry.
So, Davis, thank you so much for joining me today. It's truly been wonderful to see you, to get to chat with you, catch up. And I'm so glad that everyone's going to get to hear about your journey this past year.
Thanks so much for having me. It was so good to see you.
So, everyone else, thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time to hashtag
Get
get peer
peer advice.
advised.